One of the things that you can do to better understand air traffic control is visit an ATC facility and talk with some of the controllers that work there. We recently visited the control tower and TRACON at the Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky International Airport, which serves the needs of this busy airport and the surrounding Class B airspace. We talked with Eddie Albert, who has worked as an air traffic controller for over 35 years and now serves as quality control specialist at Cincinnati. Eddie is also a pilot and flight instructor and shared his unique perspective to help pilots better understand what's going on from the controller's perspective in the approach facility and tower.
My name is Eddie Albert. I am a quality control specialist at the Northern Kentucky International Airport. My daily role is to check on the quality of our controllers to see that the clearances that they're issuing are correct, that they're following procedures, to update them on any new training that is taking place, to look for errors and trends in our service to the customers, and to help them with making corrections to those errors. Pilots ask us a lot, is it okay to file direct? And for the most part, I would say yes. A couple things you need to be concerned about. If you're in really busy airspace and there are preferred departure routes, go ahead and look at those routes so that you're not surprised when you get this long clearance back, because you filed direct. When we issue the clearance, we're going to give you the preferred departure routing. A lot of times in route, an aircraft may ask for, hey, can I go direct my destination? The controller only knows what's going on inside his airspace. He doesn't know what's going on 100 miles from now. So if there's a restricted area that's hot, or an MOA that's hot that you're going to need to go around, he doesn't necessarily know that. And we're more than happy to help you. You want to go direct? We'll send you direct. Now, if you're going direct to a busy airport, there may be an arrival route that you're going to have to get on when you get closer to that airport. So you have to plan a little bit ahead, knowing what you're getting yourself into. If you're working with a center, centers obviously cover a larger airspace. So they're more apt to know what is installed for you further down the road. They know that the restricted area is hot, and so they're more apt to advise you that I can send you direct, but you're going to have to go around this restricted area. My advice to pilots departing underneath a Class B airspace, I suggest first of all you file for below 10,000 feet. That is going to stop you from getting a preferred departure route that is going to take you way off course. After you get airborne, and say you're getting up to maybe 6,000 feet, then request higher. Then the controller will be better able to assess whether or not getting higher is really going to interfere with the arrival flow of traffic. If for some reason you're right in an arrival gate, he'll have you level at 8,000 or 9,000 feet for maybe 20 miles, and then you'll be able to get higher. That's a whole lot better than having to fly 15 miles off course just so that you can get higher. Altitude-wise, we have right altitude for direction of flight, but there are a lot of times where that doesn't work out, especially in Florida. Most people are going north-south. So in Florida, they don't follow the normal east-west rules. When you get closer to the surface, you always save the first IFR altitude for departures and arrivals. So your next altitude, whether it's the right altitude for direction of flight, it's going to be the first one you use. So it doesn't matter in the big picture over short periods of time for you to be at the wrong altitude for direction of flight. Now, if you're going to stay at that altitude for the next 200 miles, it becomes more of a factor. But on the short range clearance, the short range distance, being at the wrong altitude for direction of flight is really not a big deal. If you needed the wrong altitude, and even if it was for a longer time, but it was something important like icing, it's not going to be that big a deal. We just coordinate it with the next controller. That means we can no longer do automated handoffs. It just means I have to call and say, hey, Columbus approach, this guy's going to be at 10,000, wrong altitude for direction of flight. One of the things we really need from pilots is for them to be forthcoming with information. We don't know what you're going through. We don't know the situation that you're in. Let's say you encounter moderate turbulence. If you don't tell me, I don't know. And the person behind you won't know until they get in it. If you're in an emergency situation, if you don't tell me, I don't know that you've gone partial panel, unless you tell me. Maybe you're leaking fuel, and you just noticed your fuel gauges are really low, or maybe you're just disoriented and you're getting kind of lost. You need to tell us, because we can then split that sector off. We can put everybody else on a different frequency, and let that controller just work you. Or we can prioritize getting you in the sequence. Instead of running you out 15 miles to follow somebody else, we'll make you number one. It doesn't mean you have paperwork to fill out. It doesn't mean anything bad's going to happen. We're going to want you to give us a call so you can explain what happened, but nothing bad is going to happen. In fact, we're going to avert something bad from happening.